All right, this is video number 3, January 6th. All right, this is video number 3, January 6th, 5th. All right, this is video number 3, January 5th, and it's about 6 o'clock in the evening. As you can see, it's dark. I turned the light on in my car. I've been making these videos in my car before work. I just got off work. I've been working, like I said in the second video, at the Zen Dog. I just put in 8 hours of being present with aggressive dogs, and trust me, it's super cool, but it takes a lot of energy being on all day long, because let me say it, shit can pop off in like a freaking snap of the fingers. It's no joke. It's real. But anyway, I wanted to make this video about my experience with my first sales job and why I quit within 3 months. Sales is something I want to pursue in terms of I want to only wear the sales hat. I've been selling my services and selling myself for 14 years in the fitness industry, selling personal training, selling group classes, also selling different packages for the coaches that worked with me at my gym. I ran that gym for 8 years, but I wore pretty much every hat, and I did have some employees that did help out to a degree, but I've never fully, or I haven't gone all in on just sales. And I've also got a lot of issues within the past 3 months that I've been able to look at in terms of mindset and sales and selling. Because there's a lot of funky beliefs that I've held on to and I've carried around my whole entire life, and they definitely aren't going to help serve me in terms of the impact that I'd like to have moving forward. Now, I've been able to help a lot of people in the past 14 years in terms of health and wellness, joint mobility, helping people get strong, strength and conditioning. The list goes on, nutrition, and also just personal development. A lot of clients would come to me for help in terms of just me sharing my experience with some of the challenges and obstacles I've faced in my life, and what I've done to face them and continue to move forward. This is the reason I'm documenting this process at 37 years old right now. It's almost my 38th birthday, and I'm just in the pursuit of doing my best to attempt to help people. That's what these videos are for. So why did I quit this sales job within 3 months if this is something I want to do and it's something I want to pursue? Because I do believe sales is a skill, and what I'm interested in is addressing any deficits that I had running my business by myself on my own. Because in the past few months I've been able to reflect and see, all right, what were the things that I've done great, and what were the things that were successful, and at the same time, what were the things that I did wrong, or what were the things that I didn't do that well, and where was it that I was making mistakes? Because I'm really interested in taking full responsibility for ending up where I'm at almost 38 years old, completely broke, and starting over in terms of getting a job, being able to pay my bills, and being able to also continue my education. Like, I just finished my first ever semester of English 101 in a college. I've never been to college, dropped out of high school at a pretty young age, around my junior year. And so I'm looking at what are these areas in which that I was applying myself, but maybe I wasn't able to give enough time and attention to because I was doing so much. So sales is one of them. I saw that I was good at selling because I knew I could help people. And with that amount of conviction and passion and belief in myself and belief in the different modalities and methods that I could help my clients with, it wasn't that hard. I didn't have to like sell people. I just told them what I could do for them, and I listened. I heard where they were, and I just shared different examples with other people that I had helped get results with in the past, and they were able to identify and make that decision, make that leap, and jump off the cliff and do something about where they were in terms of changing and moving in a new direction so they could solve their problems, or at least start addressing their pain and begin to become, let's say, more pain-free in those areas of their lives. So I do believe, like I said, that sales is a skill, and I want to develop my ability to sell, not out of selfishness, but I want to help more people. And I know if I can approach the sales process better by educating myself and learning from other people who really understand it, I know that I can do more. And so that's why I'm really interested in it. So I'm breaking a lot of my own beliefs, and that's what's going to help me improve this skill. So I quit within 3 months, and what's my part? Like, why did I end up at a place where I have a job and it's going to help me in terms of building my sales skills? But why did I pull the plug? Like, what was it? So my part in it was I gave too much of myself, and it started to eat away a little bit over the course of weeks and months. And I didn't fully pay attention to the red flags early on. Like, one of them, I mean, super simple. I kind of let it fly. I went in to meet for the interview, and I remember waiting for like 15, 20 minutes. And for me personally, if someone was coming in to interview for a position at my gym, I would never have them wait. I would map out my day accordingly. I would set the time and make that appointment, and I would be early, just like I try to do with my own personal life and in my business life. I would treat someone coming in for an interview the exact same way that I treat myself and everybody else. So I kind of was like, this is a little weird. When I showed up, the person didn't like have a place for me to really even wait for them. And this was the owner of the gym that I was looking to go and do sales. So that right off the bat was a little weird and just not cool for me in terms of professionalism and how I do business. And so that's one of the red flags early on, but I let it slide. And it turned out that that wasn't really a great thing to let it slide. My gut was already telling me, hey, what's up with this? Pay attention to this. So two things right now are I gave too much of myself and not paying attention to those red flags. The early one was, I wrote a couple notes here. The early one was walking into the office. Now, the next red flag was, let's say I vibed with the owner who was conducting the interview, but I also saw that there was quite a bit of ego. And I mean, in terms of my life, ego is not my amigo, let's say. So I've done a lot of internal work on that, and I shoot for humility more than I do for ego and bragging and being grandiose. So some of the things I was picking up in the interview I wasn't really a fan of, but I was like, cool, at least this person is definitely interested in business and definitely understands to a degree how to get to where he has got. But I just was like, there's something going on. And it did turn out later on in that relationship, as far as business relationship, that, yeah, there was a lot of ego there. And I just turned out to not be a big fan of it as the months went on. What else did I see that was a red flag that I don't have written down? What else was it? Well, when we were talking about what was being presented, it was based off of a Craigslist ad. So right there, another red flag, Craigslist ad. I was getting a job on Craigslist, and I'm kind of looking at that in a different light right now. So maybe you could get jobs on Craigslist and it's all good, or it could turn out to be fantastic. Don't know, but this was my first job on Craigslist. And in the ad, the reason I'm bringing that up, it said that this gym or this gym owner could bring in several hundred leads per month. So several hundred leads, that sounds like quite a bit of leads to work with. And I want to get in the trenches. I've got in the trenches with strength and conditioning and mobility and nutrition and working with people for these past 14 years. And let's get in the trenches. Let's go all in with the sales. Let's really focus on this. And several hundred leads could give me a great opportunity to really grow. So that's what I heard in the ad and in the interview. And red flag, within the first couple weeks, I was like, well, where's these several hundred leads? Like, they just got done doing a 6-week challenge, and now it was just kind of like silent. And then there was hopes of moving into a new space, and another red flag that I kind of let slide, which was the space that they were moving into wasn't an upgrade. It was actually a downgrade. So what that means to me, and what I was looking at even then, was downgrading. That's not really growing, but maybe there's a reason that I don't know going on, that this person could actually downgrade even in size of space and really focus on maximizing that amount of square footage. Maybe there was a strategic decision that was made that could help the individual or the gym grow in the future. Maybe it was kind of like pulling back to launch forward. I don't know, but it turned out not really. Like, what I see now is there's something going on in the business that isn't working, and that's why the individual decided to actually downgrade and reduce the square footage and yada yada yada. So outside of the red flags, I mean, I would just say, like, that's my part. I didn't pull the plug earlier. I kind of just let things, or actually I just kind of pushed them to the side. I didn't think they were that important. I did note them. I did keep them in mind. The other area that it was my part in terms of why this didn't pan out was, I took this job based on it being commission only. There was no hourly rate. There was no me getting paid anything during training to learn this individual's sales process and how they're doing it at their gym. So I was making $0, nada, and I was in the process of doing a lot of work once some leads started to come in. And on top of that, like, the leads that I started with, I mean, I closed somebody walking in just out of my conviction and believing, but I also had a little bit of hope as far as the fulfillment that this facility would be giving. I didn't really know a lot about it, but I know what that decision can do, and maybe that was a launch pad for the individual in front of me, and we came to terms that this person was going to sign up. So I was 1 for 1 right out of the gate without really knowing a lot about their sales process and what they were truly offering. It was just me out of my kindness, and I did meet with that individual later, and I did see that he did enjoy the 6-week challenge that I signed him up for. So we had some good rapport and good relationship building things going on in our interactions. But yeah, no commission and no real hot leads or several hundred leads coming in. Like, that wasn't happening. So what I was being given was lists of all the old clients from the past year or 2 years or something like that, and here's the list for this type of training, and here's the list of people for this type of training. So I was like, cool, I get it, no problem. I'll do the grunt work, I'll do the new guy work. Let's go. Like, I just wanted to get on the phone and start doing something and start trying to help people. So I was calling, let's say 50 to 60 people per day. These were old clients. And this brings me actually to another red flag. I was surprised. Well, let's say this first. Let's go with the positive. There were people that picked up when I was calling them to offer them new holiday deals and also new specials for the new facility that was going to be opening up. And yeah, there were some pretty killer deals like 50% off memberships. Like that's a big financial break for a lot of people that maybe couldn't afford it. Maybe that's why they fell off. And yeah, there was some good feedback. There were people saying, yeah, I really enjoyed it. And whether it was a 6-week challenge or they were on a membership, but within doing, let's say 50 to 60 calls per day, the minimum I did was 40, but probably more like 50 to 60. But there were some pretty gnarly phone calls too. Like people were not fans, like at all. And I don't really know if many people, if I was to call my old clients from when I owned my gym, I just don't think that any of them would have said the things that I was hearing as far as why they were turned off, why they weren't fans, why they didn't enjoy their experience. I was hung up on quite a few times as well. So again, to get back on the topic of red flags, that was another red flag. And that was actually one of the biggest ones where I was like, something's up. Like this isn't right. Like, why are these people so pissed or so frustrated, and why is it around money stuff, like financial stuff? Like I kept it super cool when I worked with people, and I never really had financial issues. Like nobody sent me in 8 years a single Yelp review all pissed off about how we had our money transactions, like what was going on through those exchanges of money. Never. And I always had 5 stars and 5-star reviews throughout those 8 years. I don't recall ever having any bad reviews, as a matter of fact. And when I did a little more research after I started seeing what was going on with these calls, I did see some pretty gnarly reviews on Yelp in terms of some of the money situations or exchanges. So to move forward, what did I learn about that? I learned I will never take another commission-only sales job. So, these 3 months weren't a total waste. I'm learning as I go. I'm just staying open to, like, what did I say yes to that I shouldn't say yes to in the future? Again, that's my part. So moving on, when I started working with some of the other employees, a thing that came up was I definitely believe that leadership starts from the top down and it's carried on to each individual within the business. And as far as like business culture or brand culture, what was happening was a lot of the employees were talking shit about the owner when the owner wasn't around. And I was just like, again, this is weird. I just kept my mouth shut, and I was just like happy to be working and happy to be calling people and getting in the groove. There was some flow going on, and I love tapping into that flow when I'm starting to get active, and the activity level is starting to progress. So I was just like, I'm going to pay attention to this. You could call that another red flag, but when I open my next business in the future, it just reminded me of how important the business or the brand culture is, and how each person is a part of the team and reflects the culture. So I believe that starts from the top down, and then it can actually start to cause some rot. It's poisonous. It's like from one person down to the next, to the next, to the next, this toxicity starts to build, and then the business starts rotting from the inside, which I never had when I was running my gym for 8 years. It was a lovely situation. I really loved working with the coaches, and we seemed to all really get along, and same with all the clients that we got to work with over the years. So moving on, number 3 that I jotted down was something that's really been important to me throughout training since I got started back in 2005, even at a 24-hour fitness. Paying attention to the little things, to the details, have been so important to me, and they are still. But some of the things like I just wasn't too into was like nobody was really setting the stage. I didn't find it to be super clean and in the gym overall, whether it was the bathrooms or whether it was the front desk, whether it was like iPads and computers, things that people were signing in with, the cords that were connecting all of these devices were kind of nasty and dirty, and like headphones that people were coming on to listen to this 5-minute pitch on a computer, which I'm not a fan of that process as far as selling. Maybe that works for them. I didn't think it was that great. Like, even if you're going to make a video, you should have a lot of energy in terms of like show people who you are and like how happy you are and how grateful you are to be doing what you're doing and sharing what you're sharing with them. Even if it's a decision you made to make a 5-minute like introductory video so they could sit down and listen to it. But like right out the gate, if you're giving somebody like nappy headphones that I wouldn't want to put on my ears and then giving them a video with like totally dead energy introducing your program or whatever it is that you're offering as far as services is not very inspiring. Like, it's just not cool. Like, if I'm not interested, like, why would other people be interested? Like, I've been doing this a long time, and like, you should go the extra mile for other people. Screw what I think, but like, yo, like, go the extra mile for people. It is a big deal. So these little things are big deals. So that was something that was just enhanced once again. So setting the stage, the environment in which you're bringing people, it is so important. All the little things. So let's keep it moving. Number 4, something that was lacking was clear communication, and then also spending time with the employees. Like, I was the new guy. I get it. You're busy. You got things going on. But saying you're too busy to meet up, or saying we're going to meet and we're going to have a powwow and break all these things down and really get on track together with other team members, and then that not being followed through upon, like, and then not following through with that, like, that was just kind of strange to me, because now I'm left guessing and having to ask everybody else questions. And then when I ask them questions, they don't even have answers to give me as far as like, when are the classes going to be? Like, what days, what hours are the classes going to be? When is the orientation? Like, what days and what times? And like, what are the just basic details of what we're offering? Like, that's pretty important. And to like not really make time to sit down in a team setting and pan this stuff out so everybody's on the same page, that just shows poor communication. And I'm not a fan of that at all. It just doesn't work. I mean, that's another reason why I quit within 3 months. Organization goes right along with that. Defining roles. And that's just a weak structure. Like, I don't think the organization or the gym or the brand is really going to flourish if there's poor communication, a lack in organization, a lack in defining the roles, which leads to just like zero structure. There was some systemization, there was some automation that was in play as far as the leads. As I, got into about the 2nd month, towards the end of the 3rd month, that was there, that was decent. But as far as the structure within the employees, it was pretty weak. It lacked a lot. It needed a lot of work. So that's my 4 major points. And I'll just wrap it up with this. Like, I was super inspired. As far as that Craigslist ad, it said there was going to be several hundred leads to work with per month. It was going to be based on 6-week challenges and memberships. And I really like 6-week challenges because it's a great way to get new people in and really focus on helping them if they're a beginner, if they're new to working out, if they're new to nutrition, and they're new to being in group settings or working with coaches. I think it's a great way to get people started so they can have a great experience and then move on in terms of membership and really finding out if it's a fit for them to be working within the facility. So I would just say, yeah, I had my hopes up. I was super motivated. I busted my ass for free. And check this out. This is almost embarrassing to say, but I made $55 in 3 months. That's it, $55 in 3 months. But what I'm taking from it is not financial. I learned a lot of things that money can't really buy. It's making me a little bit wiser now in terms of where I'm going to be moving for the next sales job. Like, what's the business? What's the brand? How are they doing? What's their culture? Are they organized? Do they have great communication? Do they have a nice business structure taking place that can produce growth? Like, I want to grow, and if it's a growing business, my opportunity is going to be bigger to grow personally as well. So I don't really have much to add to that, other than I had a falling out with the owner, which is what got me to make the decision of, yep, I'm done. I started bringing up a couple of these things, and I saw that he wasn't a big fan of hearing what I was saying, which also showed me the inability to listen, which is not a great thing. It was just like, mind closed, don't want to hear it, and then I'm going to put it all on you. Like, it's you. And when I asked, hey man, if you think it's me, what am I doing wrong that I could do better? I didn't really get a good response at all. There was no feedback. There was no good criticism even, and I'm open to hearing it. If you think that I'm not doing something the right way or I'm doing things wrong, just let me know. Like, I want to hear it so I can get better, and that way everybody else is going to benefit as well. So that was about 26 minutes. I want to be doing, these videos within 10 to 15 minutes, went a little bit longer tonight. I got to get in and eat some dinner so I can get up at 5 in the morning and go back to the Zen Dog and continue working with some aggressive dogs, which is freaking wild. It just blows my mind every day. It's different, and I'm learning so much over there. There's so much going on with dogs in terms of they're like a reflection of humans. When I watch them socialize with each other, it's a real trip. A lot of cool insights as far as how humans interact and socialize with each other as well. So yeah, this is just me documenting my experience of being on the bottom at 38 years old, broke as a joke, but as inspired as I've ever been to continue to learn, be a student, get out in the world and explore different ideas, and continue to test new things to see if that's what I want to pursue in the future. So I'll be signing off and can't wait to make the next video. Bye.